Hi, and welcome back to another edition of that Millwall Podcast. Thanks for joining us. This is episode number 38. If you're listening to this, you're listening to it on Monday morning as a podcast on your way to work, or you could be watching us on Recast. Otherwise, you will be watching this on Wednesday for all our YouTube viewers. Joining me today is my regular co-host, the partner in crime, the man who's possibly in the Rowett camp now, the one and only Omer. How you doing, fella?
In the Rowett camp, or let's get that right there. In the Rowett out camp, or what? Go on, you tell me.
In the Rowett out camp, aren't you? Possibly.
Yeah, I guess like you said there, we'll get onto that in more detail, I'm sure. Hello to people on Recast. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, yeah, as Micky said there, this is now live on Recast on Monday mornings. And as Micky said, 48 hours before on going on YouTube, and it's obviously quite exciting for us. So I'm sure we'll delve into that in more detail over the future episodes and put tweets out about it. But yeah, good for us, I suppose. And if you enjoy it on there and you're on Recast and you watch on YouTube, be sure to go over there for the next show.
Right. The next 40 minutes or so are probably not going to be easy listening without probably a stiff drink. Probably there'll be parts where you will be shouting out loudly and look like a lunatic on your commute. So, without further ado, we're going to get into the show straight after this. Welcome back. Here we go. We played absolutely fucking atrociously at the weekend against a team what was massively beatable. We decided to field a team full of defenders pretty much. We had 3 holding midfield and we had fucking 8 defensive players playing on. So let's start then with a game we pretty much set out for a draw, I suppose. What's your views on that then, Omar? Am I pretty accurate?
Yeah, a trip to the doomy gloomy Blackpool in January. I mean, obviously myself and you couldn't make it up there. I had work and I know you had other commitments as well, mate. A 1-0 defeat at Bloomfield Road. On the face of it, maybe not the worst, but if you've watched it and you went through it and if you travelled up there, I can only commend you all. I missed out on the weekend up there. I waited to go. I'm kind of happy I didn't at this point and face that kind of doom and gloom on the way home because, that was a sight for sore eyes, mate, from start to finish. And yeah, we rallied at the end. But like you said, 8 players playing defensive minded. Obviously, we lined up with a 5-3-2 formation. Bielkowski in goal. Back 3 of Hutchinson, Cooper, and Murray Wallace. Left wing back Malone. Right wing back McNamara. We've come customary to this. We're used to it. But then 3 holding midfielders in Evans, Mitchell, and help me out, mate. Keefton Belt. Yeah, and then obviously you just left an isolated Mason Bennett who had a nasty injury in the first half, by the way. If you caught an eye follow with his hands, fucking filth that looked like. And Benicophobe. I mean, give me a bit of an interjection from yourself, mate, and how you feel about it first, and then I'm going to come in a second.
I'm just going to give a bit of positive and say the 942 odd who travelled to Blackpool, a lot went up on Friday. Hats off to you guys. You paid a fortune for your train tickets. You paid a fortune for your hotel. Hats off to you guys and your continued support and everything else. And hopefully, maybe on the next show, a couple of you who were up there and want to, come on or whatever, get in touch with us. But I think that's pretty much where the positivity is pretty much going to stop. Mm-hmm. Personally, I think we spoke about it on the previous show. Blackpool has only won 2 games since October. I think they're a team we could have quite happily dominated better than what we did. But we just set ourselves out for either to drag it out for a 0-0 draw or not to win it. It looked to me like it was going to be a draw, or if you listen to Rowett's post-match, he was like, well, I decided to play 5 at the back, a 5-3-2, because I wanted to control the game for, so long. And then I wanted to bring on a change of players and then we make a run for it and off we go for it. But to be fair, I don't think they ever looked like it was going to be happening. We didn't look an attacking threat. And the problem is that if you've got no one on there creatively to be able to put balls up to Phobie and Bennett, they're not going to do fuck all. They're just going to be standing around like a couple of pricks at a wedding. Do you know what I mean?
What a good analogy that is, by the way. I mean, yeah, you're bang on, mate. And there's something terribly wrong with me, right? Because my Fulham ticket arrived yesterday. I got home from work in the evening and my Fulham ticket's there. I'm thinking, why am I putting myself through that thought in the first place? I'm in the process of even looking to go Blackburn away. And because I do it because it's a bug and it's something that you can never shake off following Millwall home and away. And I love it. And, you know, we've got West Brom next week and I hate to think how that's going to go. Probably we might have a little bit of a bounce back and put a good home performance in. I reckon they'll have too much for us. But we're talking about Blackpool yesterday. And yeah, mate, I don't even know where to start. You know, the first half, you're right. You know, Rowett played a team not to get beat. And I have no problem with that kind of analogy if we're travelling to Fulham on a Tuesday night in February, like we're going to do so. Be in the game, 15, 20 minutes to go. You throw on your new signing in Burke in that analogy if it was his debut. You go for a bit more pace and hopefully try and take the game to them and maybe nick it. And if you get the draw, you're happy. I know we're going to this game on the back of 3 defeats in the league and confidence is low and there's a lot of uncertainty around in the squad. He referred to it in his post-match interview as well, which was on Recast. And I just sat there thinking, what is this? Because if you didn't watch the one before the game, his pre-match on Friday morning, he was full of confidence and full of beans. We had a good week's training, the usual sort of rubbish we hear from him, to be honest. And I know he's got to say it and he's got to believe it and speak it into existence, but that's not a team full of confidence at the moment, and it's far from it. And I think I'm fed up with the negativity, mate. I think I put it out on Twitter and it got a lot of interactions on it, and I think everyone's agreeing with it. That's the outroar, and I think a lot of people turned. I've got a lot of mates that go to the games, and I'd say about 35% have already turned a couple months ago. You know, trips to Huddersfield. I've done my little monologue, obviously, a few months ago after the Huddersfield game, driving home down the M1, thinking, why am I doing this shit? And why is that constantly what we're getting given? It's not changed since then. And it's just been a constant downward slope this year. And I know there's caveats to it. We've got injuries, players are out suspended, or, you know, Jed Wallace is not around. I know this. I understand. And there's been games before where we've not been able to play consistent 11. But the fact that we've gone to Blackpool, who are not a bad side, Neil Critchley's coached them well. And, you know, the Josh Bowler in there looks good. Both their centre forwards played well. Medine was leading the line quite well. And then, you know, but you've got a 35-year-old Richard Keogh at centre half. We made him look like a Rolls Royce of a defender yesterday. He had his day. And if you know, we all know he's off-field issues that happened at Derby County, player in decline.
Blackpool basically got no knee.
Yeah, mate, honestly. And like Blackpool are a team in decline. You know, they've won 2-11, started doing really well. And we go there thinking, oh, we've got to pay them respect. And we just give them the ball and let them play. And it's Blackpool, for God's sake. Like I said, if we go Fulham and do that, no one's going to argue with it. If we get a 0-0 away to Fulham, everyone's going to applaud that team off the pitch and think, you know what, they've grafted. But the lack of direction of where this team is going, you don't know how Mill will play. All we know is we play 5 defenders and try to see the game out. That's the only thing we do under Gary Rowett at the moment.
No, and I like the comment he made. He made on Recast, was it yesterday, when after the game, where he turned around and he goes, you know, oh, we used to be a team what was unplayable. It was hard to play against and all that. Well, yeah, we were. But what the fuck are you doing wrong now? Because all of a sudden, when you joined, we were doing so. You know, we had this 3-year plan, what we'll come on to again in a while. But the first year we were having good clean sheets. And then all of a sudden, the clean sheets start dividing, going backwards. And now all of a sudden, we can't seem to fucking keep a clean sheet if our life depends on it. We changed formation yesterday, 3 times? Maybe 4 times yesterday, and nothing worked. And again, we'll come on to some other bits in a little bit once, you know, we'll talk about the team and some stuff what we put across social media this weekend. But to me, if you can't play against a team like Blackpool, then fuck me, Fulham's going to be scary. If we can't get our shit together for Fulham, we're going to be battered 6-7-0.
I'm fully aware football is like a results business. And if we won every game 1-0 away from home or drew 0-0, it's fine. And like if yesterday, if it's 0-0, 20 minutes to go and we nick it 1-0, everyone goes home happy, and we're probably not sitting right now talking like this. However, it's the manner of how we play, and I think that's what's sickening. And it's just at this point, everyone's fed up on it. I've mentioned the 35% of like people probably write out. I can tell you now, it's about 75% wrote out now, and we've done polls obviously yesterday, And I know, like, it's a simplistic way of looking at it. You can't just change the manager willy nilly. I know that. I don't think I am Rowett out if it stays like this. That's the facts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not Rowett
out. Like, yeah, I'm not
now.
like.
I don't want him out now.
I want to give him the window, and I want him to sign
Yeah.
some more players. I want him to show what he can do. We've got 5-6 tough games coming up, and I know no new manager wants to come into that. You can bring in an under-23 coach for, whilst you look for a new manager if we was to sack him tomorrow and do all this sort of stuff. I'm not saying I want Rowett out, but if this is what we're going to get served up and this is what he thinks is the way forward, I tell you now, it's not. And the amount of fans that are not bothering to go anymore. No one's bothering. Some people are not bothering to go because they're fed up with watching the football.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't blame them. And I'm at the point now where, like, if I'm sitting at work and I'm thinking, you know what, like, I can get away with watching this or I can go home. I used to sit and watch the games. I'm just going to wait till 65 minutes when we go 1-0 down, where I know he's going to make 3 subs and try and win the game. Then we're exciting to watch. Like, why does it take that to happen? Why are we not taking the game to people? If we lose that game 1-0 yesterday, but I have 10 shots on goals, 8-9 corners, try to win the game, we're happy. We're fine with that.
Did you see the stats? Did you see the stats? We're very, very similar to Blackpool on the stats. I think we had about, the percentages were there, passing, we were more, everything else. But actually watching the game, it's just boring. Yeah. And the thing is with watching Millwall, it's not about winning every game because, look, it is what it is, It's not about, oh, well, we're Millwall, it is what it is. No, it's not. It's about the players actually having that, that Docker mentality where they just don't give up. They just keep going. And regardless, if we got spanked 4-5-0 every week, but the players went out there and gave their heart and soul on that pitch, coming off, they'd still get a round of applause and everyone would still love them. But the problem is something's not right, which we'll obviously come to in a bit, because obviously we've all been praying. I've spoken to a few sources and got some information what might possibly have bits and pieces to do with it. And, we'll look into there. But I'm not Rowett out as in like some other channels right now, because I think it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Who are you going to bring in?
But that's the argument we said after Harris, and then we got Gary Rowett, we had the bounce. Like, listen, fuck it. I'm Rowett out. I am. Like, I can't see it changing. I want him to change it. I want him to do well. I don't like sacking managers. I don't think it's a thing we should do.
He's only in October, I think, and he joined in October 2019. I think he had a 3-year deal. So, or a 3-year plan
this year. So this, as far as I'm aware, I don't think he signed a new contract unless he has, and it's not been like kind of published or anything like that. I just, at this point, I don't see it changing. I don't think he's the man that will change it either, because we'll get results under him and we'll probably stay up this year. But the fact is the football is shit. The tactics are shit. He's playing George Evans right side of a midfield 3, asking him to bomb up and down the pitch. He can't run 10 yards. Like, why are we doing this? Like, he's a good footballing midfielder. If you give him the time and space to ping a ball 50 yards, then why are we asking him to run it down the pitch on the right-hand side and work with Matt Namara? Why not put Thompson there, who's a more mobile midfielder? I'm not a football manager. I'm not qualified to say this, and I don't know. But it's my opinion, and this is why we do this podcast. Why is that the team he served up to us yesterday? When you got Bury on the bench, we signed Burke. Burke's supposedly come back from an injury at Sheffield United, and he's not got back in the team there. But he came on,
looked good though.
Looked bright, and like, this is what I'm saying. Like, why are we not playing to our strengths instead of like letting the opposition have the ball and try and get a set piece? We had one opportunity in the first half. Murray Wallace in the 43rd minute, wasn't it, from that set piece where he's stretched his leg to it and almost scored an outrageous volley for him. But we're not opposed to that with Murray Wallace. The problem is, right, I don't think the players are shirking it. The players are putting the effort in, but there's a real disconnect to how the team plays and what we're doing. Like, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what the plan was pre-game. It must have been, obviously, like he said, get to 65 and then throw our young, pacey players on and try and hit something. But we can't just sit there for 65 minutes and do nothing, because teams are going to score goals. And Blackpool did. And there could have been 1 or 2 up at half-time yesterday.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But I think, look, should we fuck talking about Blackpool off now and we just talk about...
I'm not done yet.
All right, here we go.
Let's talk a bit
about... It's your turn now, isn't it?
Let's talk about the... I mean, like, I'm not saying the players
I don't think Evans had that bad a game yesterday, if I'm honest.
But why is he playing right side of a midfield 3?
Well, that's not his choice, is it? Because that's not where I'd play him. And I don't think that's his chosen...
He was playing centre half in the back 3 towards the end of last season. Why are we now playing in a midfield 3 on the right-hand side when he's a holding midfield? Why are we playing him and Kieftenbeld and Mitchell in a midfield three? Why is that a setup? And why are we leaving the two forwards isolated up front? The wing backs aren't getting forward. McNamara and Billy Mitchell are the only two players that can walk away that game head held high, and Murray Wallace. And even Hutchinson and Cooper, like the defense, everyone done their job, but there's just no output. Wallace is out the sides. Let's talk about Wallace, mate. Jed Wallace, come on. I think that's the key here. I think he referred to it in the post-match. Do you remember what he said?
No, go on. I remember some other bits.
No, he said there is
about an injury now, isn't it? About another injury.
No, but he's saying like the ongoing speculation around players is affecting not only us as a club, it's also affecting the players. Is that excuses or is that a fact? Like, who knows? Like, why is that even being said after a game as an excuse?
Well, I think the problem. I mean, if you read into what look, let's read into what he said. He sat there and turned around and said, obviously, the uncertainty around Jed. There was an article, what News at Den, I think it was, what basically said, there's a lot of uncertainty. Jed shouldn't really be having to deal with all this media hype and everything else. Listen, you're a professional football player. You've had media training. You've got a fucking agent. If your agent wants to play silly games, which allegedly, potentially he has, because that's his job, creating noise so that you get publicity and potentially you get the best deal possible, and he gets a lovely big slice of commission out of it. That's his job. If you can't handle the pressure, then you shouldn't be in the fucking game. You should have signed the contract a year and a half ago with Millwall and stayed here. It is what it is. So, on that side of it, got no sympathy for it, right? It is what it is.
This is the article. So Rowett's quite the saying, it's difficult when you get into that situation when there is an awful lot of press speculation. It's not easy. Other players will read that. It's been tough at that times for Jed. He's injured at the moment and you've got all that uncertainty around it. And I think it does affect other players. It shouldn't. You have to be stronger than that to be better than that. But I think it has affected some players. But we have to step up. We have to step up. And at the end of the next week, the group we have here will be the group we need to move forward with and move forward with better results. I think we will be better in the second half of the season, but we have to show a little bit more fight and be better. Listen, he's bang on. He's right. But why, what is fight? Let's define it for a second, right? What is fight, Mickey? Like, what is it that we're doing? What are we trying to achieve? To try and not lose? Or are we trying to win games? That is the crux of the issue for most fans out there. We're not playing to win games. We're playing to be in games and hopefully nick a set piece or something. And that's feasible. It's not there for long-term success. Like, we've got good young players in this team that like to play football. Mason Bennett is not a bad footballer. He carries the ball. He actually is quite decent. He's always a sick note injury. Like, he's not short of one, and we understand that. And it's obviously a downside, but he's obviously a signing. We've got to play here. But he grasps. Benik Afobe gets the ball down and likes to play. Danny McNamara gets the ball down, likes to play. Scott Malone even likes to get on the ball. Billy Mitchell, Evans is a ball-playing midfielder who at Derby was raved about. And, he can ping a ball 60, 70 yards with ease. Why are we just playing these players to try and not win a game? I don't understand this. And of course, and what we've got to stop doing, right? And this is actually a fact at the moment, is stop playing out from the back. Our three centre halves are not comfortable to ball at their feet. They can pass out. They can do simple passes, but they're constantly under pressure. There's a couple of occasions yesterday where Blackpool pushed us high and almost put pay to our mistakes. Murray Wallace lost the ball on one occasion. I think Hutch lost the ball on one occasion. Why don't we just go back to Millwall basics? And he's talking about after the game, a Millwall team needs to be hard to beat. A Millwall team needs to graft. It's all words, mate, because them players ain't.
It is all bullshit.
They're not playing the way.
We were picked up when there was someone put a comment on the YouTube channel. And again, when you watch it on there, please do add the comments. We do read them. We do, look at them and everything else, and we react to them. So it'd be good to get on board with some comments there. It's not bullshit what I'm saying. He is coming out with words. And, 1 week he'd come out going, we need to change things. We need to look at the youth, the academy and everything else. The next week, you don't fucking play anyone. I think certain players, young lad at Sutton, leave him there. I agree with that. Leave him there. Let him stay. Let him do. He's doing a good job there. Leave him there. I don't think he is ready for Championship football. It's a lot different, but leave him there. And then maybe next season, maybe bring him up to League One.
When we're in League One, when we're in League One, mate, because
we won't be there yet. But I think you've hit a point there. I mean, Jed, there must be loads of uncertainty over Jed. It can't be good for a team praising as much as Jed is a good player, but praising Jed as, being the best player in the squad, if you're someone else there, that must feel a bit of a kick in the nuts to you. But also, I mean, I've heard today that there's speculation that potentially Barrett might be looking at other roles potentially as well. You've got the uncertainty around Jed. I think Evans potentially being played in the wrong position is being scapegoated. I don't necessarily think that he's a shit footballer. I just think he's not playing in the right position at the minute. And I think so I'm led to believe through sources that the morale within the team is fucking low. They don't like the way to play. I haven't read it yet, but I was told to look at Jed's comments after Luton to understand that, the players don't like, the style of play what's playing. And it's getting to a stage where you're going, does Gary and his team, I mean, if you look at his team, he's got Paul Robinson, Barrett, and they're all defensive, players. They all played defensive positions.
So they're all defenders by nature, but everyone starts as a forward and likes to score goals. We all know how football works. Me and you are fucking punters that sit there on the weekend getting pissed watching it, but we still know what an attacking team looks like. Like it's
and we're not an attacking team.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, why are we not? I don't think it's necessarily because we've got defensive-minded coaches. If anything, if we've got defensive-minded coaches, we should be able to keep clean sheets. But we've kept 4 all season.
Because it points to me that the morale's low and the team aren't behind the manager.
There was also a tweet.
This is something. Sorry. No, I didn't. One sec. Something what I said many shows back, where I turned around and said, "Was it?" I mean, right back. It might have even been when we done Friday Night Live. That I honestly believe that Callum Davison was the man manager, was the people manager, and Gary was like the tactician. Well, we've got another guy who's a technical coach there as well. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. It'll come to me.
Joe Carnell.
That's it, Joe Carnell. Sorry, yeah, give him a name check. He does a job. So yeah, but I reckon that's why we've kept Pearce on to fill into that man management role. But the problem is if Gary isn't a man manager and you start losing the dressing room to a degree, or you've got a couple of big characters in that team. And when we've spoken to the players, they've always said, certain characters will control that team. All of a sudden, your arse is up against it. And when you're not getting results, the players ain't going to necessarily go out of their way to fucking save your skin. Because if shit come up against it, they're going to go, well, we've been telling the gaffer that we didn't want to play that position, that style. And now he's gone. Hopefully we can get back to playing football, what we can all enjoy.
Did you see Jack Millwall tweeted? I don't know if you saw it earlier today. Her strong rumours is backing up your point that Gary Rowett man management is appalling and he alienates people not in the squad, etc. And it's also a reason why Jed wants to go. Yesterday was a shambles. We need to change. He admitted to setting up not to lose. Peterborough, Hull, Blackpool, Luton, Bristol all beat us. And that is a fact of it, right? We're typically never good in games where we're expected to perform. I get that. But
we never have been, though, have we, really?
But at least even under Harris, mate. Do you know what? I see people calling for Harris to come back. That's
off.
Not for me.
If you do that, I'm going to kick you straight out of the show and I'll just do the rest of it on my own. It's not for me either. Do you know what I mean?
But with that said, Neil Harris got hounded for a lot less than what the managers put. I don't understand why we give it. Neil Harris was a club legend, got us promoted from League One, and he was hounded after a season or two of struggling at championship level for the football he was playing. I tell you what, Neil Harris wouldn't have this team playing the way it's playing now. That's not to me saying Neil Harris should come back. That's not me saying I prefer Neil Harris football, but he knew what the limitations were to the team, and we can see the limitations now, but he's still persevering with his style of play, Gary. I'm not doubting this could work at a team that have ball-playing defenders that like to overlap. You look at Sheffield United when they got promoted from the Championship under Wilder a couple of years ago. Must a team to watch. Fair play to it. It worked. It's not working with these set of players. These set of players don't play that style of play. And I agree with you. I agree with you about saying like the players are getting fed up. I've said it before about Jed. Like I speculate, what is the reason? He's probably fed up of not only carrying the team on his own, which he wouldn't mind, I guess, so much because he's the main man, but also he thinks he's a better footballer than the way we play. And I'm sure a lot of other players in this team think the same thing. I mentioned Mitchell being a good footballer. Evans is not a bad footballer either. McNamara, Phobie, Bennett, Mahoney. Why is he coming on as a sub yesterday? I thought he's offered out to clubs to leave. Why are we bringing these players on when he doesn't want them to be at the club anymore? They're not going to put a shift in for him to try and win in the game. They don't care. Why would they care?
I mean, it's the same as, remember when we did Friday Night Live? We had someone come on week in, week out saying, Rowett and Thompson have had massive rows. It's basically don't want Thompson there. Thompson is there. You're like going, well, that was months ago. And you can see that there's something not right there where, they weren't bringing him in. But the problem is that something needs to go, because what you've got is whatever's going on inside the club, that's now it's being repeated outside, because you've got the things going on through the, with the statement from the club and other bits and pieces going on with the club, which slowly turning fans. And then the results on the pitch as well are slowly turning fans. And fans are starting to turn. And once Millwall fans turn, you're fucked. Look at Harris. Harris left, depending who you speak to, that his family got dog shit abuse from social media. John Daddy got dog shit abuse from social media. Look at his post today. Great win, great win, blah, blah, blah. Thanking the fans, everything else. We never got one of those messages in Love Nor Money. But we don't know why he wanted to go. I mean, he's gone. Smith's gone. Why the fuck is Smith going when we didn't have anybody to replace him? He would, personally, we've let him go for nothing. Surely he could have coped until the end of the season.
Could have done a job as well, probably yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to play this Route 1 football up to Bennett and Afobe, maybe have Bennett and Smith, or Smith and Afobe instead. Like, why is that not a thing? And also, like, my problem is with Rowett, like I've said it before, like, there's no pattern of play to this team. We've not scored a goal this year, aside from set pieces where you go, yeah, we've worked on that. Like, it's just literally like build up play. It's sporadic. We don't score many goals in open play, aside from when it's on the counter attack. But then even then, you're not going to counter well when you've got two forwards up front left on their own. They need support. Then the whole team needs to be supporting each other. And it's just the imbalance yesterday. I'm done talking about yesterday. But like, you watch our team play, you watch Blackpool passing the ball around with intent, looking for that killer pass straight away. Bowler on the right looks unreal. I can see why Nottingham Forest are trying to get him as well as Jed. If they get to pair them together, they will definitely, I think, in my opinion, push towards playoffs this year. I mean, they keep getting good results. I think they beat Derby yesterday, and obviously Derby were resurgent recently as well. But you look at our side, there is no pattern of play or no routine that you're familiar with. With Neil Harris, you knew up to Morrison, Gregory's there, and then we play. Then Jed gets involved. Then O'Brien gets involved. Then you've got Ben Thompson bombing on. Or you've got George Saville getting involved in the play, and there's 4 or 5 attackers there. When you watch us play now, it's so disjointed. There's nothing there that you can look at and go, yeah, okay, we're working to do that. You've got wing backs that don't get forward in games when you're asked to defend, and then you're just literally left with 2 up front who are like trying their best. I don't discredit Bennett or Phobie yesterday for their performances. Bert comes on, sparks into life, give him a few weeks training with us with no pattern of play or anything going on. It'll just be looking at isolated, lost man. I don't understand what is our style of play. What is Gary Rowett's Millwall style of play, aside from the fact that we play 5 defenders? I don't know.
I don't know. Let's look at the polls, what we put out today, and talk through some of them. We put out one, obviously, show recording tonight. Interested to know this question: who's to blame for our current form? Players, Rowett, or both? And both got 60% of the vote. There was 320 votes, and 60% of those people voting said both, which I think is probably correct, because I don't necessarily think that Rowett is that inept as a manager that he doesn't understand how he wants to play. But the trouble is, if the players don't buy into your style of football, it's never going to work. It's like me taking you from what you do as a living, working with computers, and saying, right, here's a monkey wrench. You're now going to come and do some plumbing. You'll do it as best as you can, but if you're not fully into it, you ain't going to fucking do it well. So you're fucked.
You hit it on the head there, Mickey. You actually bang on there. And this is it, though. Like, you that's back to my point from just earlier. You've got 2 strikers up front left on their own, isolated. Like, what can they actually do when the rest of the players are defending, and you're playing players that are holding midfielders? You're playing 3 holding midfielders together.
Yeah.
Why not just? I'm done talking about yesterday's game, but like, look, like, you can't expect. I agree. Sometimes I've walked out this year and I thought players are to blame for that, or the manager's to blame for that, and it is 50-50. But ultimately, the person that's in charge of the players, that gets the players to perform, is responsible, because that's football. And whether it's right or wrong, or the best way it's meant to be, they're in charge of them group of players as a football manager. And if the players aren't performing, and it's been a consistent thing all season, it's still the manager's fault. And it's a sad
No,
fact.
that's it. Well, let's before we move on and talk about some other bits and pieces, right? Blackpool yesterday played a 4-4-2. We played a 3-5-2, possibly maybe a 5-3-2.
Correct.
But you look at the match stats: possession 49% Blackpool, 51 possession to us. Blackpool 14 shots, ours 9, 5 on target for Blackpool, 3 for us, 6 corners for Blackpool, 2 for us, 8 fouls, 10 fouls to us. There are a few comments and all of that, but I mean, I just don't understand how we, when we play 4-4-2, what we've played a couple of points this season, we've seemed to actually play well. The team actually seems behind it. They seem infused. They seem passionate, and they fucking drive it forward. And we look like a threat. So why the fuck go to Blackpool and play? Oh, I know what we do. We go defensive, because that was the biggest bollocks. 900 people there, and that's probably, and no disrespect to anyone who went, because I can understand why, but that was probably the quietest away fan for Millwall that I've heard in a long time.
Because what is there to get infused about? Do you know what I mean? Like you said, you understand, I understand. What is there to get infused about when you watch that team? And yeah, you say about the chances, mate. Like, I can tell you now, 51% possession. I guarantee the player that touched the ball the most in our team will be the back five. It wouldn't be the midfield. It wouldn't be the forwards. The players that touch the ball the most in that team will be Hutchinson, will be Cooper, will be Wallace, will be McNamara, will be Malone. Because we're just passing the ball around aimlessly around the back.
Yeah. You mentioned Hutchinson there. Is Hutchinson, and one for the listeners as well, is Hutchinson a good manager? Good manager. Good captain.
He leads by example, doesn't he? I do think that's also an issue we've got when Pierce is in the team.
I don't think he's vocal enough.
When Pierce is in the team, we look more organised, but then when Pierce is in the team, you hear him shout the whole game. But I don't think there needs to be a shouty captain. But when you take Pierce out of the team, you think about the team that we had before that was successful under Harris, Morrison up front, Williams in the middle, Wallace on the right, like Sparkle orders at the team. And it was Cooper and Hutchinson at the back. They didn't have to shout then because you got other players in the team that were dictating how we worked. I do think we missed leaders, but at the same time, in your answer to Hutchinson, I think he's one of the best defenders in this league personally for how he does. He reads the game so well. He's perfect in the tackle, and he's not bad on the ball. I talked about it earlier, but he's not someone that picks a forward pass and puts a penetrating ball forward, which is why you don't give your centre halves the ball to play forward. You give it to the midfielders to do the magic, but then when they're isolated the back with the three on their own, the defenders, they're not going to do much of it.
I'm not saying, right, that Hutchinson's a shit footballer. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, is he a good captain? Because when you talk about the team, what you were talking about, you had Fordy in goal, who was vocal as hell, and he commanded that back bit. You had Morrison, again, a fucking, a monster at the front end of the park. Fordy at the back, and you had Sean Williams and everyone else in the middle.
Tony Craig as well, remember?
Yeah, Tony Craig. And you had people who knew, like with the youngsters coming in, they'd pull them in and go, listen, what are you doing? You don't need to go too far up. Fucking stay back here. This is where it'll go from, blah, blah, blah. And you had lots of lots of communication. There doesn't seem to be that. And there doesn't seem to be any, it's a bit cliche, but it doesn't seem to be any passion or proudness to play for that badge. Do you know what I mean?
I think you're right, definitely about the shouting. But I don't think you need shouting if you know what you're doing, right? Let's look at it. Right. But that's the problem, I think, as well. In answer to your question, I don't think Hutchinson is a good captain. I'll give you that because he doesn't look vocal on the pitch. And for me, I think a captain should be vocal. I know they say players can lead by example, yada yada yada, but he's not that sort of character. But at the same time, like I said, he's probably our best defender. But yeah, you're right. I wouldn't say there's no prideness to play for the shirt. You look at McNamara, Mitchell,
not everyone,
but you look at these players and they're all like they do want to be there. But the thing is like this is the problem, and this is what Morrison was so good at. When the chips were down and everyone was like in panicking or whatever, Morrison will do something that goes, look, I'm up front here. I'm leading this team. We're going to get out of this. Then we're going to do something to get out of this slump. You look at the team now, there's no one in that team that's going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and go, look, lads, come on, let's do this. It's just all the mentality of trying to hang in there. But like I said again, like that comes from the manager. Like under Neil Harris is that manager that took everything on the chin and never, after he left, he's referred loads of times to off-field issues with this, off-field issues with that. We had no Scooby about any off-field issues when Harris was in charge. But when he was on Wall Talk a couple of months ago, he was saying, look, I had to deal with this, had to deal with that. And he didn't say what the details were exactly, but he went, the last couple of years were the worst for off-the-field issues. And it's easy to say in the after part, but under Rowett, we're talking about contentious things in the dressing room. So, like, I don't think Rowett's lost the dressing room, but I can equally see why the players are getting fed up with him if that's like what we're getting served up. I get it. But under Harris, like I said there, he would chin everything and keep it all in the public and sort things out internally. And even after the game yesterday, Rowett's like, with Jed and all the speculation, it's obviously not ideal. And it's like, why are you saying that? Why
Morrison's doing the same though,
that?
isn't he? Morrison's doing the same at Cardiff, though, isn't he? He ripped that young kid in the arsehole, publicly. To me, if Jed don't want to be there, get rid of him. And the fucking ridiculous figures will come out this week from some Twitter account, some journo, where he was talking that Millwall's valuing Jed at what, 15 million. I can't think what it was now. It was big money. 15 million. No way in a million years, mate. You've got more chance of fucking seeing the Queen naked than fucking getting £15 million for Jed. That's just living in cloud cuckoo land. Do you know what I mean? That's just fucking unbelievable. I think, maybe 2 million, 2.5 million with add-ons or whatever. If you can get that for him, I think that's a good deal. Why is Jed going to Nottingham Forest? I don't know. It's one of those. Look, it is what it is. I'm not going to knock the guy because he's done good for us. But I think he's probably not necessarily looking at his full potential by going to Forest. I'd probably, hopefully, hold out and a Premiership team potentially can come for him. He wants to battle relegation. But you've got to ask yourself one thing with Gary Rowett. Why the fuck did Birmingham sing your football is shit, it's boring football? Derby sang the same. Everyone sits there, Gary's, 45 years in the game, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, great. But I haven't looked at it. I don't know if you have. I haven't looked to see what his win ratio is or anything else. But, for the fact that there's 2 other teams whose fans sing, you're boring, your football is boring, your football is shit. And now we're getting that same level of agreement where we're going, yeah, we fucking agree with you. It is shit to watch. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think the board ain't going anywhere. He's established the club now as a championship club over the last 3 years. If you look at his 3-year plan, he's got, I said it to you earlier on, where
this is the year we're meant to get the playoffs. The first year was stability, second year was trying for the playoffs, which we did at times. This year was meant to be getting the playoffs, and we are far away from that. We are. And I just fly on the wall whilst you said about win ratios. His all-time win ratio is 40% in his management career, which isn't bad, and it's respectable. At his time at Millwall, his first season was 41%, second season 33%, and this year 31%. So there's a downward trend there. Sorry, Mr. 3-year plan, Rowett. No, that's unfair. Look, I actually really want Rowett to succeed, and I've always thought this could be good, but this year, it's just not changed, and it's getting worse, Mickey. It is getting worse.
And I understand.
At Derby County, his win ratios were 46% in the 1 year he was there. Stoke City was 26%. No, sorry, 43% in the 1 year he was at Derby, 31% for Stoke the second season, and that one season he had 26 games. And then at Birmingham City, it was 40% roughly. So, yeah.
He's been sacked from every club, hasn't he?
He was sacked from Birmingham unjustly. He was in the playoffs at the time, and they brought in John Vancasola, and they shipped down the league. Derby County, he was there for one season, got playoffs, and then jumped ship to Stoke City. He wasn't sacked. He got playoffs, lost in the playoffs, went to Stoke, and after 26 games at Stoke, got sacked. He signed a Phobie for 10 million. He signed James McLean for 6-7 million. He made a lot of money signings there, and it crumbled really quickly when they got relegated from the Premier League. So, and obviously with Millwall, he's not really had a kitty to spend. But I honestly, I don't even back him to get the right players in. I want him to. I want us to sign. He's talking after the game about signing 3 or 4 players. I don't think 3 or 4 players will fix it. I think what will fix it is him just realising, like, I've got to change the way this team plays. And it falls down to him, Mickey. That's it.
I think realistically, he's got to look at going 4-4-2 and just playing attacking football for the rest of the season.
How many times
win, lose or draw? No, but that's it. But win, lose or draw, right? Just fucking go all out, 4-4-2, go all out for the remaining games and just see where we are. I mean, what we got now? We got, what, 20 games left? Probably. We're middle table. Chances are we're pretty much safe, aren't we? Probably another 4 wins and we'll probably be safe. But, I mean, what's Peterborough's on 19, we're on 33. So we're fairly okay. But we could go, you know, if we don't, we're 4 losses now. If we keep going in that direction, then we could be banging trouble.
We probably are safe, like we said last couple of shows. But like I said there, like, you still need to get the points. Under Jacket that year, we was in the playoffs at Christmas or just before. We lost Chris Wood, and the rest was history that year. We almost went down last day of the season, but for Peterborough. So yeah, it's a slippery slope, and it can change really quickly in the Championship, especially how quick the games come. You know, Saturday, Tuesday in February and March. I don't know, mate. Especially with our reorganised games to come as well, it's going to be tough for us.
February is tough. I mean, we've got, you know, pretty much a game every other couple of days, haven't we?
Fulham away, Blackburn away, West Brom on Saturday coming up. Doesn't get easier, mate. And I mean, it's up to the team to rise to it.
I mean, what we got? We got Fulham on the 8th, Cardiff on the 12th, QPR on the 15th, or has that been rescheduled? No, that is it now, isn't it? QPR.
Yeah, it's happening.
So we got QPR there. We got Blackburn Rovers on the Saturday after that, and then we got Derby on the 23rd, and then on the 26th we got Sheffield United. So I mean, we're literally playing Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday.
It gets better in March.
You got Reading through there.
You got Reading. You got Middlesbrough at home, toughie, but there's games in there that you'd think we could pick up points. Huddersfield at home as well in March, I think, as well. But yeah, mate, it's easier said than done in this level, though. You'd think we could pick up points against Blackpool yesterday. You think we could at least get a draw, or at least go down fighting. And that's that. Like, to wrap up this part and to wrap up the show, I guess. Ultimately, we just didn't put up a fight yesterday, and it was too little, too late. And as soon as we conceded that goal yesterday, you just knew he was going to make a sub. You knew he was going to bring Burke on. And sure enough, 3 minutes later, Burke is on and Bury's on. And by the way, shout out to Tyler Bury. Not that I expect him to watch this, but I mean, he came on yesterday and put a graft in and almost scored an unbelievable goal. We took it in on the left-hand side, beat 2 or 3 players, got a good shot away. And to be fair, everyone credited the keeper for a good save. It was a decent save, and he tipped it away for a corner. And Bury almost scored a goal that he scored at Hartlepool early in the season. So maybe he's worthy of a chance in the team.
No, I totally agree. I think, look, you know, yes, we're starting to tap this up, and then this. I think his tactics aren't working. I think his subs are fucking shockingly too late 90% of the time. I don't think they're making an impact what you want. Yes, we've had a few games, but you've got to ask yourself this. And again, this is a question for the comments. You've got to ask yourself this. Have we been lucky, or has it been a masterclass from Rowett why we've won games? And I think that's the big question out there is, you know, have we had a bit of luck in our favour, or is it the fact that Rowett's pulled off a bit of a masterstroke and it's actually his tactics and the way he's played that's won us the game? Again, look, get involved in the comments on them.
Good
just
question,
before we end, we done a vote again on, you know, Rowett in or Rowett out, and at the moment Rowett out, it's finished now, but Rowett out was 57% and Rowett in at 43%. We've had a load of comments on a lot of the stuff we've done over social media the last day and a half, and we'll probably go back in more, let some more comments come in, and we'll go back through those later on in the week when we do the new game, because we'll have a lot more time to do it and we probably won't be so pissed off. But look, thanks very much for listening. Thanks very much for watching. If you're watching it on Recast, that's really great. Thanks very much. Again, make sure you get involved in the comments. You can find us across social media. It's really easy. We are that Millwall Pod across any social platform, from Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You know it. It's easy to find us. Make sure to give us a follow, because all the follows you give us help us with algorithms and make sure that we get in front of more and more Millwall fans. All our comments are open. All our DMs are open. So obviously, we ignore the ones if you want to call us a cunt within reason. But anything you want to get to us, you can.
We're both cunts anyway. We're both cunts, so it's fine.
We are.
Yeah.
But that's it. This is it. That's it. Thank you very much for listening. Please get involved with the comments. It'll be great to hear your views. Maybe we're talking bollocks, but right now, Omar sits in a row out camp. I sit on the fence.
No fence it is. Row out or row in. Come on.
I'm going to be row it in at the moment because I don't think the board's going to get rid of him.
I caveated
honest to God.
Well. I caveated mine, didn't I? I said, look, if he can change the way we play, then I'm happy to give him time, but I don't see it changing, so I'm row it out. There you go.
I just don't think the board will get rid of him, and also I don't see who you're going to get in right now. So at the moment, it's row it in potentially till the end of the season, and then I think he needs to probably do the honourable thing and say thank you very much and out the door. But as we've seen with Holloway and other people, unfortunately, money talks. So we'll be back on later this week with the preview game against West Brom. Young Kai will be back, recovered after his hangover. And, well, that's it. We are that Millwall Pod. And thanks very much for listening to us rant for the last 45 minutes or so. Enjoy your day. Make sure to share this with a friend. And we'll see you again later in the week. Thanks, Omar.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Micky.